So Travis Hunter wins the Heisman Trophy. And apparently, this has enraged a lot of people, or so I have seen over the last couple of days. Would I have voted him as my number one? No, he would have been second to me. My foundational belief in that is that if you take Travis Hunter off of Colorado, that is a huge blow. It's still not as significant of a blow as Boise State, because Colorado would still be able to score a lot of points and be a bowl team. And Boise State would still be a bowl team without Jeanty, but they're not in the college football playoff. So that's where it comes down to. Based on how the Heisman Trophy has been voted on over the years, it hasn't always gone to the best player, which you can certainly make the argument Travis Hunter is. It's gone to the best player who's also got the team success. Well, Boise State's team success has been greater, is greater than that of Colorado's this year. So that's how I would have landed on Ashton Jeanty. But am I outraged like so many people apparently are? No, I'm not. Travis Hunter is the Shohei Ohtani of college football. He doesn't just play both ways like Miles Jack or Adoree Jackson a little bit, or Charles Nelson at Oregon is another random one. No, he plays both ways and is one of the 5 best in the country at his position. Should he have won the Biletnikoff? No. He should not have won the Biletnikoff. To me, that's the one where people have more justification at being upset. Not that he isn't worthy of being a finalist. Of course he was. But just a year ago, you could say, well, he had more touchdowns than anybody else. Well, he did this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, it kind of seems to me like he won the non-Heisman awards so that there could be this historic moment of, look, he won the Biletnikoff. Look, he won this defensive award. Look, he also won the Heisman Trophy. That's how it feels to me. Because a year ago, Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't have the best stats, but we all knew he was the best wide receiver in all of college football. And so he got the award. But Malik Neighbors had more receiving yards than him. So did Rome Odunze. But Marvin Harrison Jr. got it. Teteroa McMillan's the best wide receiver in college football. Travis Hunter is one of the 3 to 5 best. I'm not sitting here arguing that fact. Putting him as a finalist, no argument, no debate. Like that's fine. But is he the best one? No, he is not. So that part, I think, is far more egregious than him winning the Heisman Trophy. Ashton Jeanty had a phenomenal season, but the uniqueness of Travis Hunter is what separates him from everybody else. The reason that he wins this award is we haven't seen a guy that plays both ways and does it at this high a level, and is also a central part to a program that is currently in the process of being rebuilt into something that it hasn't been in 3 decades' time. So I understand how he gets to be the Heisman Trophy winner, and I'm not saying he's undeserving. I think people that left him off their Heisman ballots entirely are just anti-Colorado. Like, that's pretty clear and obvious. Because Travis Hunter is one of the 3 best players in college football this year. To me, he's pretty clearly one of the best 2. If you want to put Cam Ward in there because he plays a more difficult position at quarterback, okay, that's fine. I'm not huge pushback, but he's a finalist. That much is incredibly clear. But the level of outrage and disgust at Travis Hunter winning the Heisman Trophy is going too far. This is not an anti-Ashton Jeanty campaign that was orchestrated. I don't even believe that his Heisman Trophy winning reality is primarily a byproduct of the Colorado media hype machine complex. I don't think that at all. I think there are a lot of people who just said, yeah, that's an incredibly special season. That guy is incredible. He's one of the best defensive backs in the country. If you want to say Will Johnson is, who hasn't been healthy all this season for Michigan, fine. Give me the last football player who was one of the 3 to 5 best receivers and one of the probably 2 or 3 best corners in all of college football. You can't find one. So the uniqueness, I'm fine. Here's how I think about this. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. I've loved it my whole life. I will always love it, no matter how much bad content gets put out there. It's not all bad nowadays, and/or rocks. Some other things, like it's touch and go. It's touch and go. Okay, it's Star Wars, very controversial. When I rank my top Star Wars movies in order, top to bottom, best down to worst, including all of the films, my number 1 is Rogue One. My number 2 is Empire Strikes Back. My last place film is The Rise of Skywalker. That thing stinks. My second to worst is The Last Jedi, the one that comes right before it. I know a lot of people, and I'd even be willing to venture that if you orchestrated a poll among Star Wars fans, you could find a hefty amount that would put The Last Jedi last and The Rise of Skywalker higher. I don't begrudge those people or think they are misinformed for that opinion. There are people who say Empire Strikes Back, best Star Wars movie of all time. I'm not sitting here telling you you don't know what you're doing. I'm just saying that for whatever reason, how I view the matter, when I think about these particular processes, I arrive at this conclusion. The Rise of Skywalker is worse than The Last Jedi. Rogue One is slightly better than The Empire Strikes Back. It's close, but that's how I arrive at it. The people who arrive at the opposite conclusion, they're not so far off the beaten path that I can't understand how they get there. So yes, I would have voted for Ashton Jeanty first and Travis Hunter second. But to say that this is some complete miscarriage of justice for a running back who's had an incredible year and made it closer in the Heisman voting, by the way, than most people expected it to be, it doesn't hold any weight to me for people that say, oh, this is ridiculous, this is absurd. It's not absurd. You can view it differently. This is a reasonable people can disagree sort of ordeal. You can view it differently. But just because someone is on the other side of that argument doesn't mean there isn't logic or reason applied to how they arrived at that particular conclusion. End of Heisman rant. Enter new rant. Bo Pribula's in the transfer portal. Spencer, who's that? He's the backup quarterback at Penn State. This is 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. 14 playoff, 12-team playoff, whatever. Where you have a team that is capable, legitimately, not just because they're in the playoff, but because they have a team capable of going really far, winning a national championship. Look at how Penn State played against Oregon. You think Oregon can win it? They just had to sweat their way through the Penn State game. They couldn't stop the Nittany Lions offense. So Penn State has national championship aspirations. Their offensive coordinator, Andy Kotelnicki, did not take the West Virginia head coaching job because he wants to see this out. They wanted him to jump ship. He said, nope, we can win a national championship here. He believes that. Penn State believes that. I think they are right to. And I haven't been the biggest Penn State fan all season long. But guess what? They showed something in that Big Ten championship game. We'll see how they fare against SMU this week. But Bo Pribula is the backup quarterback. Texas last year had Malik Murphy transfer. You can't blame the kid. You blame the calendar, which is completely screwed up and backwards. There's no logic. There is no reason, nothing to justify having roster turnover of the free agency variety while the season is still ongoing. It doesn't make sense for coaches. It doesn't make sense for players. It doesn't make sense for fans. It doesn't make sense for media. And look, we are low on the totem pole. I'm not trying to argue that. But it doesn't make logical sense. If you're trying to draw the maximum amount of attention to the sport, NFL free agency, big buzz. Schedule release, big buzz. College football just throws it all in at the same time. They say, here are schedules, here's free agency, and we're having our postseason right now. There's no method to this madness that works out for anybody. And if Bo Pribula wants to be a starting quarterback, now Drew Aller announced he's coming back next year, which is why Pribula's probably transferring. Because he feels, I'm a starting caliber quarterback, I'm not going to start here next year, and I'm not going to throw away a year of eligibility for that. I understand it. I believe what he said in his statement. He doesn't want to leave Penn State, but he's forced to because everyone's finding their quarterbacks right now. There are about 100 in the portal. There are about 300 wide receivers. You can't wait until spring and see who still needs a quarterback. You're trying to find the right fit for you. That's what you're seeking. You can't wait because schools are not going to wait for you. They're not going to wait around. They want certainty. They want clarity. They want to know what their plans are going to be. And yet, this is the college football world that we have to just sit here and accept. It's the best sport in the world. I say that at the start of every show. Greatest sport on planet Earth. There are just such serious flaws that 2 years in a row, a guy who could easily play, Bo Pribula came in and helped save the Wisconsin game for Penn State. They have a Wildcat package with him where he comes in to run the ball. What if Drew Aller goes down? What if Quinn Ewers had gone down last year? The backup who they had been preparing with all season long wouldn't be available. And that is complete and utter madness, total craziness, and needs to be changed. I see no indication that it's going to. I just wish it would. Don't open the portal until the season comes to a close. Push back National Signing Day towards the end of February. Let the rosters come together. Spring ball plays out. Have a portal window after for those who are not going to be seeing the field based on what happens in spring ball, and go from there. This is just complete and utter madness, and we have yet another example of a quarterback in the portal who could have played a huge role in the national championship picture, and instead, he's no longer with the team because the schedule forces him out.